Did you end up getting a goiter, Nadia? Like up here, like a goiter?
No.
Oh, that's lucky.
Yeah, it's likely Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune thyroid destruction.
Was that just like bad luck? Like, was that a result of some kind of treatment you had, or was that just like dumb luck? Like, because I had a friend who had like the whole goiter thing, and like, she had to go back to another country. She had the whole goiter blow up. It's horrible, you know. So I mean, I feel terrible for you if that's what you've been going through.
Welcome, Kauai time, or Kauai time.
Well, I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah, either one. Or Michael. Michael's fine. I should put that on the lower third. Hi.
So.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Orchiectomies are known to trigger that kind of autoimmune response against the thyroid. I mean, for instance, testicular cancer flora and also transflora. We'll discuss after orchiectomies or sex reassignment surgery. Thyroid failure off.
Yeah, is that very dangerous? It would seem to be dangerous. Besides autoimmune, is there like other things you have to worry about, or is it pretty straightforward?
All right, have a good night. It is usually straightforward. It's kind of not truly rare, but at least less common. Thyroids off like that. I'm partly unlucky, like 5 or 10%.
I'm sorry to hear that. You seem like pretty decent company.
I try to be. Unfortunately, some come around and scare those people off.
Well, normally she is, but like, well, I don't know how to refer to you. I'll let you Nadia.
It's an island of Hawaii. It's pronounced Kauai. Yeah, one of the two pronunciations is Kauai, but Michael's fine.
You smoking, bro?
Yeah, Janet Mock actually wrote about growing up somewhere in Hawaii.
It's a very interesting place to go. Lots of prejudice. Most prejudice I've seen in the world. I've been around a little bit. It's a very prejudiced place.
Kauai, how you doing? It's been a while.
Doing very well.
We were we had a 6-hour conversation a long time ago. Like a really long one.
I believe it.
Yeah. What's it about?
Probably Hawaii.
I don't know. I don't talk about Hawaii too much. I would prefer to talk about like current affairs, science, stuff like that. But yeah, I'll mention it. It's definitely.
Have you heard about the new hadron collider? The new hadron collider is just. You know that hadron collider? It's spinning particles together and smashing them. They've just increased its energy level, apparently.
Yeah, it doubled it actually. They closed it down for 2 years because they found the Higgs boson and did it was scheduled to be down for 2 years, and they doubled its power. So they have no idea what they might be able to find now.
Totally.
As you throw more and more energy at it, it's freaking incredible. Quantum mechanics is the reason.
Are you talking about the black hole machine?
Yeah, the same one. Yeah.
The black.
Right.
Yeah, the one that is in cahoots with the devil or something. Black holes, devil, Illuminati, lizard people from space, reptilian space Jews from Mars or something like that. Wake up!
I'm excited as well. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, the black hole machine, that's funny. There's so many people going it's going to create a black hole. And people don't even realize, even if you created a small black hole, it wouldn't even matter. It wouldn't do anything.
It would evaporate instantly. It would evaporate and would make a light. It would actually make a visible light.
You know that Schwartz, that was called the Schwartz hemisphere or something? Like the smallest sphere you can make the you know, because of gravity, right? If you do the math right, it goes to a certain when it's like the Schwartz hemisphere, right?
I think he
It's
means
so
the
small. It's so small. It would just
hang on, dude, just chill, man. There's plenty of time. You mean the Schwarzkopf radius?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
Or something like that. It's called something like that. Yeah.
Right, just checking out what you're talking about. Carry on now. What were you saying then?
That's what
What did you mean about it? What were you saying about it? I didn't hear.
Well, I think he was joking about, like, you know, how it would just kind of conspiracy theories were saying the whole black hole was going to like swallow itself, which is highly improbable.
Well, one of the cool things that happened with the scientist in the wheelchair, damn it, it must be 3 o'clock in the morning. Hawking, yeah, one of Hawking's, one of his great contributions to humankind is that he found that the way that particles and antiparticles just form out of empty space can actually cause it to evaporate. And the weird thing about the evaporation of a black hole is the smaller it gets, the faster it evaporates. And if it's a microscopic black hole, that's the last instant of any size black hole's life. So if the CERN would create a microscopic black hole, cool thing would happen. First one, we would actually detect a black hole, and then second, it would almost immediately, according to the physics, evaporate, and it would release photons.
Radiation would get rid of it very quickly because it's so small. Yeah, possibly. I haven't looked at that equation, but and I mean, people don't even really know whether Hawking's radiation is actually true. I mean, it's just an idea. I mean, he's a smart guy and everything.
Yes.
So we'll see. Anyway, look, it's not going to affect their day-to-day life, but it's, cool theory.
No, but if there is if the universe does die in a big freeze, if the universe doesn't tear itself apart nor crush in on itself, the last things to survive, like Googleplex years, not Googleplex, Googles of years into the future, there would only be black holes, and any life still in the universe would huddle around it using its spin and its gravitational energy to survive. Well, the end of the universe would then be, according to Hawking radiation, and all the black holes would just disappear.
Sure. But we don't know what that's very long time. I mean, that might change over time. That's our current understanding.
No, we don't know for certain, but the math's pretty fucking sound, and virtual particles are pretty
keep going
well known.
Forward, like it keeps changing. Like the story keeps changing. We don't know. I mean, I think the truth is we don't really know. Our understanding keeps changing. I mean, we didn't even know about dark matter. In fact, we didn't even know the universe was expanding until about the 1990s.
Yeah, and we don't even know what dark matter is.
Okay,
No, actually, down. Chill, man. Plenty of time. Yeah, about 1920s. Was it 1928 when Hubble discovered? Yeah. So that was not the 1990s. That was actually expanding.
No.
Quite a long time ago. I think down, please. What I think you meant to say was accelerating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, you're wrong. Well, but not an accelerating.
That was Krauss that discovered that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't know until the late 90s that the universe was actually expanding exponentially.
At an accelerating rate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see,
and the farthest.
He's right. Guy in red is correct.
The farthest galaxies we can.
No, we're both correct.
Yeah, we're
both.
correct.
You were
I'm agreeing.
That's why I corrected you, Dan. That's why I corrected you.
It's pretty cool because by redshift,
Father's an astronomer. Okay, don't correct me.
But by redshift, you can
I'm sorry.
tell how
I
fast.
Speak Australia.
Hmm?
I just saying to Dan, I don't speak Australia, so it's difficult for me to understand.
Yeah, me neither. But yeah, the farthest galaxies we can see when you actually take the redshift measurement of those galaxies, they're moving about 8 times the speed of light away from us. They're permanently frozen and redshifting slowly into oblivion. And the coolest part is that everywhere in the universe, if you are far enough away from something, you are moving faster than the speed of light. The universe not only expanded during inflation faster than the speed of light. It's never stopped. It's never stopped.
Yeah,
And even to this day, it's going, and it's really cool how empty space can do whatever the fuck it wants, even though matter in space can't.
Well,
really
yeah, I mean, we say space there. That's quite a loose usage of the word space, I feel.
Yeah, well, space is actually a bubbling, like,
Yeah, we don't
froth
know.
of particles
There
and
could be more dimensions, yeah. There could be, if it's quite likely there are going to be more dimensions found, so, you know.
They all, from what I understand, they all seem to be small, like, small dimensions.
Well, yeah, especially if it's coming down to 11. And it looks to be those initial 7 are going to be tiny, like below Planck scale. So,
yeah,
and in which case that could give a whole new explanation for the singularities, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, the universe itself could actually be what it looks like to be on the other side of one of these singularities. It could be what happens when, for one reason or another, naturalistic reasons, black hole kind of turns itself inside out, but it's kind of hard to tell because with the word singularity, it's the same as saying infinite. It's just a filler because we don't know.
No, well, you know, because the energy scales go so large that inside out just doesn't make any logical sense.
Gravitational singularities refer to singularities of the Kretschmann scalar.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Gravitational singularities refer to points where the Kretschmann scalar becomes infinite.
And so therefore math no longer makes sense and physics no longer makes sense because it's infinite. And it's weird.
Speaking, that's not entirely true.
You're dividing by an infinite.
Well, we deal in quantities in mathematics, right? Infinity is a concept of a number, so we can't manipulate it like a number. It just means it goes on forever, or it's as small as can possibly be. So, I mean, a number is quantifiable. Even a complex number is quantifiable. So that's why we have problems with...
Well, yeah, but what relation does that have to the universe, dude?
So we have to find a way to try and, you know... Well, we can't. I mean, that's the whole stumbling block. We can't.
Infinity might not exist. Actually, it might not. It could be that.
And it might. Say again, Nadia, please.
I would like to also welcome Bud Martin and St. Tommy.
Excellent, St. Tommy. Fud Mutton, how you doing, guys? Should we get back to some? Well, yeah, we can carry on this, I suppose. Nadia, what?
I would actually point out that these scientific notions have some importance for cosmological arguments, and say on infidels.org.
Well, the cosmological argument has changed so much over the years as man's understanding has changed.
Not the cosmological, but various kinds of cosmological arguments. Some of them are, in fact, atheological.
Cosmological arguments are funny because...
There's an entire section of this cosmological argument page dedicated to Big Bang cosmology. And... some elements of other aspects like quantum cosmology and so on.
Well, there's been a huge debate, Nadia, and it's been raging since the 1920s and before, but especially despite my learned friends here, idea that in the 1920s we all thought the world was expanding at an expanding rate. Hubble, right, and, you know, we went on to Hume, we went on the steady state theory, and then, like, in the 1980s we came up with, like, inflation ideas. We're all trying to figure out a very difficult problem. We have very small information, and we have to theorize about it. So we're trying to make up theories, you know. And obviously, as information contradicts it, we come back to a better theory. But the question is, we don't really know. We're just making models up. And Stephen Hawking, in his book, actually said that what we're really doing is we're not looking for truth. We're just trying to make models of the world in the way that we see it, and that's pretty much all that it is. So I guess it's like a utilitarian school of thought. that there is no Platonic truths out there. It's just models that we're trying to look at. And what
Well,
we're doing is
I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure that's true, Dan. I mean, there is two positions, realist and anti-realist, and I see both of them, neither of them being in conflict. Nadia?
That's actually, there are more than two positions. Anti-realism breaks down into a number of different other positions. And realists also have a number within their camp as well. I mean, for instance, there were logical positivists and such, where, amongst the anti-realists is sort of modern tradition is instrumentalism, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, I really like to know things, and I really think it's awesome that human beings have figured out so much that we have. But I'm totally cool with not knowing the origin of the universe. I think it's possible that it might just be one of those things that is impossible to know, like what's on the other side of a black hole. It's kind of impossible. We may come up with a better experiment. We may come up with a really crazy off-the-wall idea, like quantum mechanics or uncertainty principle, something weird and non-intuitive to actually combat this problem. But I'm totally cool with not knowing where the universe came from. I'm totally cool not knowing if we're part of a multiverse or not. I'm cool with that, because that's a really, really difficult question. And I'd rather know how a biogenesis happened. I'd rather know, if it's possible for a species, a spacefaring species, to actually traverse interstellarly without destroying themselves, genetically destroying themselves, without, gravity. And would you be the same species when you get to the next planet? Would any selfish life form like humans ever allow themselves to never ever make it for generations? It's interesting questions. I think
some of those questions are just beyond us, and whereas the physics is at least within reach of a new energy scale which we're now probing. And I think that's the real key point, is that if we are determined and we keep increasing the energy scale, I think there's a good chance that we're going to at least come up with the next set of solutions to whether we do have extra dimensions, or whether string theory is or is not the right direction to pursue.
Mm-hmm. And there's cool things we never even thought of. I mean, there might be some way.
Just those two things alone could probably add a whole new field of mathematics. I mean,
I would be more interested in, how to, heal the sick and house the poor.
Transhumanism and socialism. Yeah, I think it's more likely that instead of trying to find another planet, if it's impossible to move faster than speed light, I think it's a lot more technologically feasible to develop a virtual universe to live in, and have it run off of the heat of the planet and stuff, and could be buried and could survive without the sun. I think that's more logical. I really don't see human beings with the technology that we know of, without some kind of warp drive. I don't see us leaving ever the solar system. It's so much bigger than most people realize, and I don't think that human beings would stick
hang on
with
a sec. Yeah, hang on a sec. That's good points. Fudd, would you like to just make your sound check now?
I'm wanting to know if you hear any external music. If you do, let me know.
Okay. I haven't so far. We can't at the moment, so that's cool.
I got headphones. I don't hear.
Welcome, Tommy. Did you want to chime in on the subject, sir?
No, thank you. Thank you, though.
That's cool. Well, please feel free.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we've already left the solar system officially.
It depends upon how you define solar system. I don't consider that.
You naysayers. You naysayers. We've left the solar system. It happened in my lifetime.
If you mean solar system as in not even the Oort cloud, then okay, maybe. And if you mean solar system as in gravitationally still bound to the sun, no, we're not even close.
Yeah,
I don't.
Agreed on both those points.
We've got more than one space.
Hang on a second, Fudd. I'm using the poetic solar system. Which is further than Pluto, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, well, I still like Pluto as a planet, but it's not, and I'm cool with it. It does not clear its own orbit of the debris.
But it does have a moon. It does have its own moon. And secondly, they've actually recently moved to reinstate Pluto as a planet. They've actually had a whole... Yeah, there's a whole movement. I know it can't because of all the planets.
Yeah. Well, it's either do the kids learn 8 planets or do the kids learn 49 planets right now?
I know. So if you actually go,
I feel 9 is a more satanic number than 8.
I just think it's cool that we actually have a spaceship that's getting there, and we're going to be able to see what color it is in like a month.
Well, actually, some of the Voyagers went outside the heliosphere recently, and like we didn't really know it was there, and like there's like a whole bunch of turmoil there that they didn't really realize.
It's the heliopause.
Where?
I don't know what it's called, but it's helio something, right? It's where the sun's whatever it's called, plasma stops.
It's kind of like a crosswind of the sun's.
Yeah, you have this burst out there. And I was called a helio.
It's something to do with the sun, I know that.
It stops there, and they went through that, and they're quite extraordinary. Like they weren't expecting that, and that happened about what, a year and a half ago? A year ago?
We started noticing outside interstellar cosmic rays being the most prevalent of the actual rays that being detected, instead of it being the sun for the first time.
Back? I mean, do they still have enough plutonium to send signals back? I mean, how do we know this?
It's running at like 20 watts or 25 watts now.
We kind of know it by the fact that signals come in. When we receive the signals, we know it's still doing it. If we don't receive the signals, we know it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering whether that actually completely died yet, if they're still coming in.
Yeah, well, due to the relativity effects of, or relative effects of, thing, then the battery life is going to be a bit longer.
Yeah,
they should get an extra 6 or 7 months out of it.
Voyager 1 has officially left the solar system in accordance with the cosmic ray, the solar wind, versus the interstellar medium. And escape velocity. Horizon, which has not yet left the solar system and is heading towards Pluto, is also at solar escape velocity. Voyager 2, which is further along, has reached the solar escape velocity. So
that one that just reached Pluto, they're going to redirect that. They're going to redirect that somewhere else. So
it's gonna go right past Pluto and just they're going to maybe be able to push it, but there's not really any. We don't know what to point it towards because. I actually listened to the podcast recently, and apparently a couple of candidates have come up because originally the problem was they needed funding for it, but they didn't actually have a good candidate. They didn't have like a quasi-planet to point it to. But apparently recently, finally, once, because there's this tiny orbit that they can actually point it at, has come up. So they haven't got the funding for it yet. Now, if they can point it there, that'd be cool. Will it still go out the solar system? I don't know. I don't know the trajectory. It still might. Escape velocity is escape velocity. I just think it's cool. We're going to see Pluto.
I like the idea of something getting out of our solar system. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a question of which definition you want to call outside of the solar system. Are you
talking
distance from the sun? Yeah. Are you talking escape velocity? Or what?
The Oort cloud is...
Get out. Back in.
We've just been here.
It's like a relationship, right? If you get so far out...
We're talking about the poetic solar system.
Is poetic solar system even like...
That's a scientific defined term, that is.
Poetic?
Yeah.
Let's use the imagination.
It means I'm going to die and I want to say something left the solar system before I'm dead. That's what it means.
That is actually the literal translation of the Jewish text. Before I say anything else.
Some of us
You
look
just
less.
made up the term I mean, let him use the poetic. Let him use the poetic.
No,
So
what it
what-
actually means is somewhere between here and quite far away.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Some of us less to the stars.
I think
Sorry.
it's great that we're getting
Some of us
stars.
less to the stars. Oh wow. Some of us look less to the stars and to well, right here on Earth for biological or technological and scientific advancement.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
we have this, and then this, which is supposed to be, I guess, the uterus transplants, and then next, of
I like
course,
the three parent children that you can have, where you take the mitochondria from one mother, the egg from another mother, and the sperm from a father, and make a stronger, genetically stronger human being. That's pretty cool, I thought.
Milkshake.
There's the cystic fibrosis was but,
I want an engineered vagina. Shit.
That's a stem cell grown, and here there's a uterus transplant, and here is biological same-sex experience. And well, I only really need 2 of those to become a mother myself, but at the same time.
Pop quiz. If you were able to look back on the present from deep in the future,
I'll sell you my kids, buy one get one free. Today only.
What's that?
I said sell you my kids, buy one get one free. Today only.
You accept PayPal?
It's one of my reoccurring jokes I've been saying. Today only. Today only. I got good kids, man. I got really good kids. They're better than I am. So shit. But yeah, good boys.
Right.
Well, that kind of event makes it
Well,
possible.
this uterus transplant, right? If you were able to have one, I mean, would that just make you the incubator, or would you also be able to change like your genetic material? As far as I understand, right, you need a sperm and an egg, right?
Technically, you can use genetic material with a blank egg.
So it depends on what you're changing from and to. Like, if you're changing from a man to become a woman, you can get a uterus. It could still be your sperm. So then you just need an egg from someone, and then you can put it inside your own uterus. And you could
I think it's one of those, if there's a will, there's a way kind of thing.
That would be possible, right?
Let's speak on a more primitive level, because we're nowhere near doing humans. On a primitive level, E. coli bacteria has had the entire genome extracted and replaced with a synthetic genome that is based on a template of, necessary protein.
What's the difference between a genetic and a synthetic?
Yeah,
because it's the exact same atoms and the exact same configuration.
The synthetic is been entirely synthesized by human beings. It's just that it's reverse engineered from existing life forms. But
all right, we'll just accept that for now, right? We'll accept that for now.
Yeah, the point is the fact that synthetic genome has been inserted into E. coli bacteria and created an entirely new life form means that we now have the ability to create life. Now,
hang on, how's it a new
primitive level? But it exists.
We got all kinds of questions about that.
Well, you can recreate. I mean, if you can recreate the genome with synthetic material, okay, that's fine. It's not a new life form; it's just a copy of an existing one, right?
No,
unless
it's not a copy. It is based on various proteins and such. Well, rather, I should say, the genes required to produce proteins that are necessary for a living organism.
Maybe send me the link. I'll send me the link and I'll have a look.
Proteins are cool. Proteins are really
I'll look for it, but no guarantees, because this was like a couple of years.
That's all right. I'm just saying, like, if you've got the time or everything, like, yeah. I mean, like, getting back to the question with Nadia, like, I mean, like, if you have like a parent, that has a womb, grown inside them, well, then obviously you've got the sperm probably still, at least if you don't still have it, you've still got it, maybe in storage or something like that.
I don't still have such.
Oh, okay. So where would that leave you? Would that just leave you as needing a sperm and an egg donor?
No, the stem cell procedure. I'll reshare again. The stem cell procedure from Pink News here. Yes, Cambridge University discovered it. Would render it possible for me to, be a biological or genetic parent for someone else with XY chromosomes.
Well, you always have transhumanism to extend our lives long enough that even things we don't have now we'll have later. I really would like to be able to turn myself off instead of being forced to die. I don't want to live forever. I know that.
I don't like transhumanism because it's like too much, I don't know, science fiction woo, but
it's not.
Still in bioscience, I would put a bit more faith in.
Well, I remember in the 70s, right, like when I grew up, like, test tube babies were like, all kind of freaky, and now they're just normal. I think we've had something like 5 million test tube babies, and no one bats an eye. I mean, science marches on, and culture will catch up. So, I mean, eventually, what is possible will become possible. And
10 years ago.
And try and... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say 10 years ago, computers got 1 million times smaller and 1 million times more powerful and 1 million times cheaper in the 40 years that they existed. There's no reason to think that you can't have computers that are 1 million times smaller, 1 million times cheaper, and 100,000 times more powerful in another 40 years or less. And at that point, all you need to do is have a couple of them in you, and you have all kinds of building blocks inside your body. I don't see why you couldn't have a single machine for every single cell all talking to each other through wireless means and being able to control what goes on in your body.
I don't think they do that. I think that in the future there'll be breakthroughs that we can't even imagine now. Like, we can imagine the internet and stuff like that. And like you're saying, like the scale of, discoveries will keep going. And there'll be an interface between the biological, like, basically, they're already talking about replacing people's eyes, like with better lenses and, the so-called bioengineering of, people to make them better and hip replacements, better glasses. And also the mixing of the sexes to the point where, like, bio reproduction is kind of blurred, I mean, it's been, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, hundreds of millions of years, genetic. But I mean, that's going to start to change as well.
Well,
and, I mean, it's going to escalate rapidly in our own lifetime. I don't think the culture will be able to keep up with that. Like, the culture is normally used to living slowly, but the science will rapidly escalate, and what can happen will happen. And I think culture will probably be left behind in that. And I think the debate is so far behind, and it will always be. Well, I just don't think we can be that very quickly.
It's right now that is speculative, because I can tell you for a fact that my mother is currently got cataracts. Her only option is lens replacement surgery, and the lens is focal length.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, I've posted in the side chat a reference. Admittedly, it's a Guardian article, but if you want to trace it back, it does go to a scientific journal where scientists have created a synthetic genome for a life form, the bacteria.
So, Stiffy, you kind of rattling something.
Camera.
No worries.
Was I understood, or do I need to repeat myself?
We understand.
No, I understood you. I've just pretty much got nothing to say about it. I think it stands. The point stands on its own.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a difficult thing to do, by the way. I remember the news interview, which unfortunately it was on television, so I don't have a link to it or anything. But apparently it took a lot of work to do that. So we are some years from purely synthetic organisms that are easily generated. That is being able to type into a computer the genomic code and pop out a bacteria that has that genome.
Type.
Yeah.
That's like a baby's toy.
You look if you look at the original timetable for the Genome Project, they had this horrendously long 20, 25-year timetable. But then as computers got smarter and smarter and better, bang, they solved it in the 90s, early 2000s, you know what I mean? So science and technology is going up. Culture and humanity is just going round and round in a fucking circle.
Well, it's debatable.
Where the technology is going straight up. So, that always frustrates me personally, and that's why I get involved in the political discussion, is because I see all the great gains from technology being squandered amongst people who really don't deserve them. So I get into the income and inequality kind of stuff.
Everyone deserves.
I love the technology discussion because really that's where my heart lies.
Well, what happened with the Human Genome Project was Roche developed a new gene sequencing machine that was essentially a disruptive technology. So rather than doing electrochromatography, they came out with a much, much more efficient method called shotgun genome sequencing. And that has been further augmented by computing technology. Microsoft in particular is able to do gene processing much, much faster than back in the 90s.
Yeah, I'm thinking by 2020 or so, it'll be a Google era type thing where you slide it in your phone and you can check for genetic stuff, and slide it out and give it to the neighbors. It's cool.
A human genome fits on a compact disc. An audio compact disc, not a DVD.
700 meg.
Yeah. You just apply. It needs a little compression, but it will fit. And then what you do is you take a reference genome, and then all you need to do is the deltas. And that gives you further compression, meaning that when you take a large population, you can store the genomes of the entire population by taking a reference genome and then for all the individuals, just doing the deltas. That would fit easily on a thumb drive.
Stem cell advances with, various kinds of replacement organs are a great deal of hope for
a lot of people
who have been seriously damaged, possibly even healing amputees. And welcome, Stevie.
My teeth are not good, not very good at all. And my parents, if I have any kind of anticipation because of them, it'd be really nice to just remove the tooth from the socket and have it regrow another tooth. They technically can do it, sort of, right now. It's going to take a couple decades before we can do it, but it'd be nice to regrow teeth. That's my thing. I'm pretty healthy, so I don't got much to bitch about, but it'd be nice to have some new teeth.
Well, what they're doing with stem cells is absolutely incredible. When they discovered stem cells, that was just nuts. But there's even more than that. There's been mind-body connections made. I've read about this neuroscientist guy, with people with phantom limbs, like limbs that don't exist, they have pain. Well, what he's done is he's actually put, say, this hand in front of a mirror and the other hand, like some of them, when they have this phantom limb, they feel it's clenched the whole time. So if you imagine yourself in a box, right, in a mirror, and this is the other hand in the mirror, it's not the real hand, right? They put the phantom hand in, but there's no hand, right? It's like this, okay? But they see this hand here like this, and they go unclench it, and it goes like that. You go clench, unclench. And because they send this signal to the brain that it's unclenching, that, you know, they feel better. Now, what this guy is postulating is, I mean, and it's not just postulating, right, that there are multiple connections in the brain. Some of them are cognitive, right, that they pass through the thalamus or whatever it is that does cognition. And there's other parts that pass through other places. And when that happens, the brain just, you know, and in like something like 80% of patients, like it's giving them relief. You know, it's actually, as long as they get them early. Like, so it's not just neurological connections and stem cell type connections. There's actually mind-body connections as well that are going on that we don't know about. So, yes, thanks, Nadia. That is the guy. Yeah, that is exactly the guy.
Yeah. Back to the teeth thing. Rodents' teeth keep growing, and they have to constantly gnaw on stuff in order to prevent their teeth from growing too much. That is, they have to deliberately wear their teeth down because the enamel keeps growing.
Is that humans or everybody, or what animal is that? Is it just
if we were able to reactivate that gene in human beings, because I'm sure it's there somewhere, we would be in a similar condition. We would have teeth that continue to grow enamel and would be essentially forced to wear down our enamel by artificial means.
There's
no
generating enamel.
There's no nerve endings on the end of our teeth as far as I know, why there's no pain. So how would the signal get up to the part of the protein that would tell it, oh, okay, maybe there's a mechanism that doesn't involve pain?
There's a better way for human teeth. Above your adult teeth, there's a premature baby tooth, and above that, there's a wad of stem cells. So if they trigger the stem cell to grow a premature baby tooth, the baby tooth then grows into an adult tooth, and the only stimulus besides activating the stem cell is to have an empty socket. So you actually grow your own adult teeth, as many as you need, and behind it is a premature tooth, and behind...
Like sharks do. Sharks, every time they lose a tooth, they just grow a new.
Or like sharks, they can grow like multiple.
So maybe that's the same mechanism. Maybe sharks have the same mechanism. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's why we're all related. Yeah, it would definitely be something genetically turned off.
Is that the same procedure? Yeah.
Well, sharks' teeth are not really teeth per se. They are the extended scales on their skin, so to speak, which is why they have rows and rows and rows of them.
That's fascinating.
They're not unlimited.
They're entirely different from mammal. You want to go the mammalian route, and I think rodents are...
Well, hang on. Sharks need to breathe oxygen, right? So doesn't that make them a mammal?
No, they have gills.
No, but they can't breathe underwater, right? So
sharks?
No, doesn't the shark has to come up, or can they breathe underwater as well?
Sharks don't even have skeletons. Sharks are an extremely primitive fish. They're not even chordates per se.
Like 360 million year old bloodline.
If I remember correctly. Yeah. Sharks are really successful, but they're not anywhere near our line. So there's no point in following what sharks do.
Yeah, it goes all the way back to the Cambrian explosion before we shared any kind of, relative with them.
Quite possibly, yeah. Like I could be mixed up there. I mean, I'm not really a a paleontologist, or I don't even know the word for this.
Well, for it to be a mammal, it would have to have fur. It would have to have mammary glands. It would have to make milk.
I was just thinking I was thinking about a whale. I was thinking about the whales. Yeah.
Cool thing about whales and dolphins is whales and dolphins can't sleep because they have to constantly be moving. So half of their brain shuts down and goes into sleep, and the other half of their brain is active at any given moment. So they seem to have split personalities, left and right brain. Because we have ways of measuring brain activity, stuff like that. Plus, we're really, really, really human about doing whatever the fuck we want to animals and putting whatever we want in their brains and doing whatever the fuck we want with them. It'd be really nice.
Stuff in their brains, and half of it was going and half of it wasn't.
Yeah, half of it goes into sleep REM type mode, and the other half of it seems to be active. And they alternate.
I don't know. Just basically, surface questioning.
Yeah, because they're mammals and they need to sleep, but they don't, and we didn't know why they didn't until we started doing like EEGs and stuff like that, and finding out that half their brains sleeping and the other half's active.
Right, so they do sleep, but you were saying they go half-half, like one half does, then the other half, or
half of their brain is conscious at any given moment, and the other half is sleeping, unconscious.
Isn't that kind of weird, though? Because isn't the part of the brain that's conscious like one part? It's not like one half.
Two hemispheres. Two hemispheres. Yeah, well, for us, but you can lose half your brain and still live, as long as it's only half the hemisphere.
When I did like 1 year of psychology, and I asked my professor once, I said, "Where are we?" I said, "Where are we?" And he thought about it for a while, and I said, "Well, we're kind of everywhere and nowhere." Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like he said, "Well, look, your sight's here, your hearing's here, and what here?" And like that kind of put me a bit more on a track. Like we're not. It's like when you're born, like you're young and you get better and you can see things. And you get old, you kind of die, things die off. And you have you have accidents and like. So we're kind of everywhere and nowhere at the same time, but I still think to myself there must be one spot that is consciousness, that if you knocked it out, it would go. But maybe there's not. Maybe, I don't know. I've never done a neurological study to find that out, but it's always intrigued me as to where we are, the self-awareness, not all the inputs and all the sounds and the hear, touch, smell, sense, language. Where is we? Where is this thing that we call consciousness? Where is it in this brain about?
It seems to be a side effect of the wetware and hardware of our brain. It just comes from this very complicated organic machine that does crazy stuff we're just starting to realize we don't know shit about.
Yeah, I mean,
we are our brain. Right? You never actually see light.
Brain. You just said you can lose half your brain and you get still conscious, right? So obviously, it's not in that half.
But it's conscious in weird side effects, like you can't see.
If you lost the other half of the brain and they're still conscious,
no.
Well, then where's consciousness? It's not in this half, it's not in that half.
You would not be conscious if you had two missing halves of a brain. And if you're missing half of a brain,
right, and they lost this half, and then another person, they lost that half, right? Well, then where the fuck is it? Is it moving around?
They're not whole. They're not whole. Not only are they not whole, as in they have problems either with mathematics or they have problems with artistic abilities. They can't see the people's faces. If you're missing the right half of your brain, you can't see, nor do you even notice that you can't see the left half of every face you see.
They're sentient, they're aware people. So if this half of the brain is gone in some people and this half of the brain is gone in others, but they're both sentient, then that means
it's like a dog. It's like a dog and a human. They're both sentient, but a human has more cognitive functions. When you're missing a big chunk of your brain, you're still technically sentient, but you have a limited cognitive.
They're not aware that they're aware. That's what I'm trying to say. The unique thing about human beings is they're aware that they're aware.
I don't know if that's true if half of your brain's gone, because you're not even aware that you can't see the half of somebody's face. Your awareness drops.
I'm not talking about what you're aware of in terms of like perception. I'm talking about you're aware that you are aware of the half that you can see.
I'm not sure if people.
Okay, sentient, as I define it, is that you're aware of something. It doesn't matter that you're not aware of everything, but what you are aware of, you're aware that you're aware of. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. Where is that part of the brain that's aware that it's aware? It doesn't seem like it's anywhere. Right?
It's a combination.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes,
Sorry,
but
it's all right.
as you lose parts and functionality of your brain, there are consequences. Only a completely healthy brain is able to be fully cognitive, fully conscious, fully aware in a human standpoint. Once you start taking out pieces of your brain, there's permanent problems you have to deal with. Your brain can also rewire itself. When people lose half their brain during surgery, when they're young, they're able to, in some cases, their brain's able to be plastic enough to be able to relearn how to use the opposing side of their body. If not, you're just fucked, and you can't use half your body because you're older and your brain's not as plastic. But the consciousness is a side effect of brains, no matter what size, no matter what healthiness, and your level of consciousness seems to be somehow related to how much healthy brain tissue you have, and stuff like that. It's not very complicated to figure out where consciousness is. It's in the brain. It's not, it's not the thalamus, or it's not the frontal lobe. It's not, the pituitary gland. It's the brain itself. And I bet every dollar in the entire planet that if your brain is damaged, dead, or doesn't have enough oxygen, you're fucking dead. You're just dead. It's your brain that you are. Where are you in your skull? Is for all intents and purposes, from what I can see. It definitely seems like there's no such thing as a mind without a brain, or a brain without a mind. They go together.
That's all in your head.
Yes. Very good place to be, apparently.
I would, of course, the consciousness has, or it's rather distributed across quite a number of sites. I'll see the brain, and that there are places in the brain we definitely don't affect consciousness. I mean, for instance, like the pituitary is acts largely as a gland, because you cognitive and various kinds of motor control affairs are not so linked to sensory awareness as they are actual motion.
Yeah, like my stepdad is a diabetic, and most likely what's going to cause his death is the problems with blood sugar. What it ends up doing is it kills the brainstem, and so involuntary functions like heartbeat, respiration, and digestion shit stop. So if a person dies of insulin overdose, it's because they've killed their brainstem. And the brainstem has zero to do with consciousness, but without the brainstem, anything couldn't live. So it's weird. The brain's cool, and it's cool that it's built from the inside out. The deeper you go into the brain, the more primitive it is. And the parts that make us human are really the outermost parts, which are really cool. Really cool. Brains are so cool that it's the only way we know of that the universe can figure itself the fuck out. So
I don't remember the scientist's name, but he is betting his entire career that a small section of the brainstem, occupying approximately a cubic centimeter, is the differentiation between alive and dead. That is, if you were to damage that area, it would be fatal.
And good news, Greenland's parliament just unanimously approved gay marriage.
Yay. Equality, personal freedom, liberty, yay. That's the only thing I give a shit about anymore. I don't even care about religion. I just care about people being free.
In bad news, The TPP has been fast-tracked through the Senate.
What's that?
Now it needs to be blocked in the House, or we're fucked.
What does the acronym TPP stand for?
Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not good news.
The TPP is going to fuck America and everybody else up. It's going to remove the sovereignty from American citizens, and I do believe... Oh, shit, I'm here twice. What's going on? Well, anyway, you can look up... So I do believe that it was either the House or the Senate. I think it was Mitch McConnell. I think he's the one... Isn't he the one in the Senate? They passed this resolution without even looking at the goddamn legislation. You know,
No, that's like totally normal.
I'm like, what a sham of democracy. I mean, this is the most far-reaching economic and political tentacles that you could get into. It's just like giving corporations, you know, all power, and they court where they can settle all their disputes in, right? So, well, if you don't like this and don't like that, don't worry about the national laws and everything. Let's go to this court over here.
It's a three-part checks and balances. You need all three of the judiciary.
I haven't done my full research on it, so I can't read it too much. But I smell something bad here. I think it's going to be something very bad for all of us, kind of like NAFTA was, you know. That's my... I've not got to do research, but I've got a very bad feeling about it.
I'm an optimist.
Yeah,
Things have been way worse.
Here's the thing with the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It is being done in secret. No one knows what is in the law, even with FOI requests. Go to EFF.org and follow what they've been publishing about the subject. It is beyond democracy or the Republic or anything. And yes, it does affect sovereignty because it'll define copyright law, patent law, and other things that directly affect our lives.
I think copyright law needs a complete revamping. Completely, it's totally not conducive for human growth or any kind of anything. The way it was written when it was written compared to now, and copyrighting, you know, the gene for detecting breast cancer is bullshit, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. I still think it's bullshit.
Oh, ultimately, much of it centers rewarding the rollback efforts of the right, and perhaps even having further social advances. And various things about me. Well, my various kinds of positions and so on.
Yeah, I'm a bad American. I voted in 2000 for Gore in Florida, and Gore won and lost. And since then, I only voted once, and that was for a woman's right to do whatever the fuck she wants with her uterus. Since I don't have one, I think I should always vote that a woman should be able to do whatever the fuck she wants with her uterus, because I don't have one. But besides that, I don't vote. I don't keep. Politics is a lot of brain power. It's as much brain power as I would need to either, you know, learn Linux or learn calculus. So I'd rather not fuck with politics. It's probably because I'm a bad American, but yeah, too much energy.
There is nothing we do that's not by permission of others. There is no ancient is earthly unclean. So,
but I love all humans. I think they should. I think all human beings should have the right to electricity, water, food, shelter, internet, and I think it's very easy for us to give everyone that. All we'd have to do is melt down the gold in the Vatican. But you know, why would? Right?
Then everybody has a right to shelter, internet, whatever. If that's the case, then why? I mean, who are we going to go and task to do that? should it be you? Like, let's suppose that I'm in charge, right?
Government.
I
That's
feel that
what's
everybody has a right to the
job.
internet. Okay, so I'm gonna send you out. I'm gonna stop you doing your own profession, and I'm gonna send you out as the in charge person. I'm gonna make you give somebody else internet. Like, that doesn't really work, right? Think about it.
Google.
When you say you got a right to do it, what you really mean is you would like them to have it. There's a big difference between that and a right. A right is something that you actually have. Well, it depends on how you want to define it. But you're defining a right as like
a basic,
something that you wish people would have.
No, I'm considering it as in the basic necessities for a humane environment.
Who's going to provide that? Okay,
the internet. We already figured that one out.
Provide it. Who's going to provide this right? Should you do it? Should I get you and your family?
That's what a government's job
is. But the government takes resources from people like you who are in the government, and they tell them to go and do this, you go and do that. So, are you happy to go and do that?
Send me to med school, and I'm happy to go do that.
Yeah, I don't think the government's ever. First of all, I've never made enough money that they've actually taken anything from me, and second of all, they've never told me I've had to do anything except for take a class for a driver's license, or need to get a degree for it.
But what you're talking about is people who actually need this stuff. If you aren't productive enough to have taxes taken from you, and you've never been told to do anything, then the people who are productive, that's probably why you like the idea that you can tell the productive people to go and help the poor people, but you don't have to do it in the middle. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying?
I've always had to do whatever I needed.
But you're going to tell us to do it.
I'm not telling anyone.
I, on the other hand, made 6 figures. I, on the other hand, paid a hell of a lot of taxes. I, on the other hand, been happy to see them go toward helping the poor and not making war.
Like, I'm happy when somebody has food stamps at a grocery store, because the way I see it is we spend so many billions blowing up little brown kids they can feed some kids here. And my parents, they've been fucked their whole life when it comes to taxes. They're middle class. They have to like stress about it, and gray hair and aged quickly because of economic stress. I've been so poor that I actually have very little economic stress. I have enough to survive, and I don't have to owe anybody anything, and I have no debt. I don't have any credit, but I don't give a shit. I don't have any debt. I don't know. I like simple life though. I don't like a lot of things. I like a desktop computer and a phone and some clothes, and that's it. I'm good. I don't know. I like being happy, and happy for me is simple. So, simple's good.
There's hearsay, sort of in direct opposition to Stalin. Quality, not quantity. Quality of life is probably the most important, I would think. Yes. I think it's either Switzerland or Scotland, one of the two with the S's, has the highest quality of life in the world, and has the lowest homelessness. Also, I don't know if they're continuing it, but I do know like a year or two ago they started actually giving all their citizens like $1,250 a month. It was enough to pay for every necessity for life, and people weren't just lazy pieces of shit that didn't do anything. They still had desires and goals and still did things just like I kind of figured people would. I think people who have don't have economic stress and people that get to do what they want still become scientists and engineers and still be creative and well, they all let me. The tech sector has exiled me. And why? Oh. Why do you think?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, I'm sorry.
I said the tech sector has exiled me. Why do you think they did that?
Still can't understand the question, I'm sorry.
The tech sector has exiled me.
Oh, why?
Rare has over. And
Why?
why did that?
I don't understand that. Is it just pure hate?
Now, if you're out of the tech sector for more than a year, you're considered obsolete.
Yeah, I'm in the tech sector.
Now, seriously, you're considered obsolete. Unless you can prove somehow that you have kept up in spite of being out of employment, you're obsolete, and they won't touch you.
Yeah, I did have a hard time getting tech jobs after living in Hawaii without technology for like 3 or 4 years. I had to fight for it, that's for sure. But I live in Austin now, and Austin's got a lot of tech work. It's nice. Jobs are the one thing I don't have to worry about in this city. I'm going to start working for Dropbox on the 8th.
Retrain, reskill how? There's no credential I can acquire. Because guess what? It's all immediate money. Yeah, which is worthless because, of course, you have no actual credential to establish what you've done. Getting on forums is worthless when you do not have the resources to carry out the tasks.
What did you do before in the tech industry?
Did platform bring up and workload and platform enablement on Linux.
Yeah, Linux has been my little thing lately, last couple of years. I got bored with Windows. I'm a big fan of Linux. Most people have a Linux device and they don't even realize it.
Now, the obsolescence affair is referring to largely different fields. The kernel got really desperate for anyone who could do it.
Did you see the 64-bit ARM processors that are being utilized this year? 64-core processors, I should say, ARM-based. They're going to pretty much have Linux take over all the networking, switches and routers and all those type things. And they actually started printing the 64 core dies for the X9, something 9. It was
9.
Yeah, really cool.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that Apple has not
In my mind of hiring managers.
ARM comes from Apple. ARM was sold by Apple so that Apple could survive. I think Apple has enough spare cash they could repurchase ARM, but they probably have not bothered for reasons of, well, they don't need to, really.
Yeah, it's been taken over by the open source community. ARM's open source hardware at this point, from the tech briefing that I saw with that same
No, not
release.
really. No, ARM is licenses architectures. It's not open source. And you still need fab plants to build processors that conform to the various ARM specifications. Apple has enough money to buy that back. But whether it's a good idea to do so or not is a business decision that I am unable to make.
Me too. I just avoid back. I'm looking forward to the Google Era. They're launching it in Puerto Rico this year. A endoskeleton with semi-permanent magnets. Put a little electric current through it. It becomes a permanent magnet, and without electricity flowing through it. And then if you put another electric current through it, it demagnetizes it. Has like 200 gigabit per second transfer rate in between the parts, and also was able to regulate voltage along the same connections. And I see it replacing the desktop computer. And I also see it as a benefit to third world countries, where a community can share parts on one endoskeleton. You'd be able to put a module in there and be able to test the water, put another module in there and check everyone for a genetic diseases, and then give the module when you're done testing everyone's blood to the next neighboring village. It's also supposed to, from what Google says, reach the 6 billion people that don't have access to the internet, and it goes hand in hand with Google's air balloons that are using the jet stream and altitude, changing altitude and using the jet stream to have a completely worldwide network. Not necessarily fast or anything, like 56K maybe at first, but it's everywhere and it's free and it's paid for by Google's AdSense type shit. So that's pretty cool.
You should know that most of Google's projects are complete failures.
Yeah, but this one actually is successful. It's finished the 2-year R&D and is actually launching a beta test pilot in Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico has a 92%, I think it was 92% mobile phone usage, and 70% of the people get their internet 100% through their mobile device. So it's a really cool place to check and launch it out. And there's 100 separate modules. One of them just is a Pez dispenser, and another one is a flashlight. But there's 100 different modules for these for the Google era endoskeleton, and it's a standardized size. I love standardized sizes. 1 inch by 1 inch, 1 inch by 2 inch, or 2 inch by 2 inch modules, and it's really cool. I think it's really cool. Really cool. I've never owned a laptop ever, and I think I would actually get rid of my desktop. Now, I still think there'll be keyboards and mice and monitors, but they'll all be wireless and you won't have to take it out of your pocket. But I definitely see desktops going away, which is sad, because I was born in '82 and had a desktop in '86 at the age of 4, so I've always had a desktop. But I'm willing to let go if they have something good enough. And Android or Linux on a mobile device that fits in your pocket is enough of a machine for me. I'm happy with that.
Well, past week I've been playing with a Wacom tablet as an input device, and I gotta say, there is no way in hell you're going to replace a keyboard.
No. I think keyboard, mouse, and monitor are here to stay for a while. I just think that the big desktop and the wires, they won't be necessary soon. I had my last phone was a quad-core 2.4, 2.6 gigahertz Samsung Note 3 with 3 gigs of RAM and all that. It has more shit in it than my PC does. My PC just has a better graphics card, but it had twice as many cores. It had a gig more RAM, and it's a powerful machine, and that's like almost 2 years old now. The Note 3.
If you look at an Apple 6 series, be it the 6 or the 6 Plus, the numbers may not immediately reveal the fact that it beats the crap out of every other mobile device in existence.
Only because
on iPads.
It doesn't have a 64-bit operating system, even though it has 64-bit architecture. So that seriously limits its actual potential at the moment. And spec-wise, it's except for the really nice new architecture of the main board and the memory and the chip. All the other stuff are specs from the Note 2. NFC, same resolution, same screen size as the Note 2 from 2012. But it has this super awesome 64-bit, it was the first 64-bit mobile device, and is running a 32-bit operating system, just running the commands in redundancy twice. It's a shame. I think Google now has multiple different devices, the Samsung Note S6 and stuff like that. They're all 64-bit. There's no 64-bit operating system. So,
Well, okay. I am going to pretend that your hardware claims are correct. The iPhone 5S runs not just the 64-bit processor, but also runs 64-bit operating system.
Really, iOS is 64-bit. Is that with 8 or what? Because I wasn't aware.
With the well, it depends. I mean, if you're running a iPhone 5, it's 32-bit. If you're running the iPhone 5S, it is 64-bit.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to do a little sprucer upper. The new job I got is 100% Macs, and they were all proud of them and stuff. And I was like, well, at least I get to play with Macs at work now. I haven't played with a Mac since kindergarten. That was the last Mac I had. I think it was a Apple II. Yeah, Apple II. It was cool. Played World Worlds, Carmen San Diego, but my first computer was a Tangy 8087, monochrome, amber, 2 floppies, no hard drive, no mouse, DOS. We upgraded to 5 something, and then eventually 622. But yeah, I learned on text-based. So I love terminal. I love command prompt. Love that shit. But I don't know. I like old stuff, old school shit. I like running shutdown minus sign T minus sign R 0 rather than just hitting restart.
Whatever. I mean, unlike with a Windows machine, Mac is a fully used box.
Is it full
I'm
what?
pretty big into legacy systems myself. I, in some respects, built my career on. Was also the maintainer of the 32-bit Spark architecture for years. Spark architecture support to the Windows.
It's really sad that you can't get a job in that field anymore.
Yeah.
It's all I know. I don't have any degrees. I have a diploma. That's it. I don't have any degrees. I don't have any certifications. I just been able to give the right answer and keep my resume looking cool. I got a really cool resume. I don't know how the hell I landed.
From Purdue University. Is it from Doug Comer?
Yeah. Nadia's resume kicks fucking ass.
I bet.
Yeah, but it hasn't really done a whole lot in 5 or 6 years.
I just finished a contract with HP working at a data center, and that was nerdgasm heaven. It was so cool working at a data center. HP's got no fucking sense whatsoever, though. But it was cool. It was really cool working at a data center. All futuristic, nice looking one, like very little exposed wiring. It was definitely one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I liked that job. Dropbox is paying me the same amount of money. I like Dropbox. I'm a big fan of Dropbox.
Yeah, in my case, contract kernels are generally not undertaken in contract, essentially because of various kinds of NDAs and projects being longer term than contracts for the software.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get used to this Texas laws where most jobs are temp to hire or just temp and contract base, and They can just get rid of you whenever they want. It's weird. It's weird. It's very not employee friendly at all. But at least there's lots of work.
It's not supposed to be employee friendly.
No.
If they wanted it to be employee friendly, they would make it employee friendly. Or make it employer friendly.
If it was employee friendly, I don't think Dell, Samsung, HP, Apple, and all of them would be here. I don't think they would be here for that way. So.
Well, I don't know why Apple set up in Texas for making.
It's because they got a huge tax. They were like, please come Apple, please come Apple. They rolled out the red carpet, gave them like, I think it was $20 million tax cut and stuff. It was incentives. We had to fight for it, apparently.
Oh,
from what I heard.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me because, you know, Apple is now the world's largest computer manufacturer. So yeah, I can see Texas fighting for it. Also, Apple's call center representatives, you know, for support and whatnot, I believe they're mostly in Texas, in the Austin area.
If you call tech support and you get an English-speaking person, there's a good chance it's from Austin, Texas. There's a lot of call center jobs here.
Oh yeah,
it's a cool place to be. It really is, and it's